Hey folks, Chris Vandeviver here from WhyLogicProRules.com, the website that helps you get the most you can out of Apple's Logic Pro 10. Today, I want to talk about what I think are the 10 top most reasons why you or anyone else should consider using Logic Pro 10 as your DAW for all of your audio needs. Now, full disclosure, I love Logic 10 and I've been a Logic user for a long time. I started with 8, I saw 8 to 9, 9 to 10, and 9 to 10 was a dramatic leap. And so that's why I started the website, Why Logic Pro Rules. Number one, I wanted to boast to everyone how awesome Logic is and how they really should look towards it for everything regarding audio. Number two, to help Logic users get the most they can out of it. So I go on YouTube just like anyone else. I'm watching tutorials and I keep seeing these tutorials popping up that are like top 10 reasons to use Studio One or top 5 reasons to use something else. And I think Logic deserves the same treatment. I think it's often overlooked, and you know, we can't really count on Apple to post videos like that because I think that their company motto, if I were to guess, is that they really try to build a great product and let the product speak for itself. I mean, this is the company that created the iPad, the Apple Watch, the Mac, so it makes sense. But damn it, I think Logic deserves this. So if you are a new user, you just bought a Mac and you're kind of looking around deciding, you know, what's worth my money? Or if you have been using Pro Tools or Ableton or something else for a long time and you keep looking at it, kind of wondering, is it worth the time and money? Number one, it is. Number two, these are the reasons why. So without further ado, let's dig into this. Number 10, a clean, organized, and beautiful interface. Let's be real for a second. Who is better at aesthetics and customer experience than Apple? I mean, this is the company that built its empire on intuitive products that are beautiful and easy to use. Like I said, the Mac, the Apple Watch, the iPad, the iPhone. And so you can see it with Logic. When we went from Logic 9 to 10, there was a dramatic shift in interface. And it looks fantastic. It's easy on the eyes. I mean, if you're going to be working in audio, most likely you're going to be staring at this program for hours, days. It's got to be something you can look at and feel comfortable in. It's very beautiful, very colorful, easy to understand where you are. A lot of the menus have been streamlined to make it easier for you. Let's just zoom in here. You can see that I've set icons for all the tracks in this session, which makes it very easy to know where you are. If we go in the mixer, you can see right there. And just in case you're still a little lost, you can go up here to the quick help menu, click on it, and everything that you wave your cursor over has a contextual menu that tells you what it is that you're looking at and some options with it. Just in case it's not enough information, use Command / and suddenly even more information pops up in a help menu. Super intuitive. It was very clear from the start of 10 that the Logic team at Apple put the user first. And I'm very thankful for that. All right, number 2, a killer set of plugins. I'm going to challenge you right now. Go to Google and search for Gearslut's Logic Pro Compressor or Gearslut's Logic Pro Channel EQ. You're most likely going to find results of people asking, oh, what do you think about the compressor in Logic or the EQ in Logic? Logic users are going to come out of the woodwork to express how much they love these plugins. Logic comes with an amazing array of plugins that are high quality and have been improved upon, a lot of facelifts. This is the channel EQ. If you're familiar with an EQ, it's very easy to look at, very colorful. Not that colors are the only determining feature. I mean, it's very high quality and there's even more options underneath to adjust the resolution, oversampling. In case you determine that this is a little too small for your view, you can expand and contract very easily. Same thing with the compressor. Let's open the compressor and we have 7 shades of compression to work with based on different models, including Logic's own digital model. You can resize it very easily. The reverbs, the delays, very pleased with all those. All right, number 8, updates. Since the release of 10, us Logic users have enjoyed roughly about 3 updates a year. Pretty awesome. It's fairly consistent. And those updates aren't just like a couple bug fixes. I mean, Google the release notes for Logic Pro, and you will see hundreds, if not thousands, of bug fixes and workflow advancements. And we've had so many strides in new instruments, new plugins, new workflow. I mean, Senzon faders, smart tempo, retro synth, alchemy, the list is pretty huge. And just a little side note, the only time you pay for Logic is on major updates like Logic 8, Logic 9, Logic 10. Any update in between 9 and 10, so 9.5, 9.6, 10.4, you're not paying for those. That's something that really drives me nuts about other DAWs is that they will release new instruments or plugins or loops, and then they want you to pay for them. And it's like, why are you nickel and diming me, man? Like, I've already invested in your software. Apple doesn't do that with Logic. Okay, number 7, a huge amount of great sounding instruments. I would be remiss to not point out Alchemy, the most recent edition of synths in Logic. Alchemy is huge. It's a humongous, awesome synthesizer with thousands of presets of different instruments and sounds. You can work with this as simply as you like or as advanced as you like, which clearly there's a lot going on here. On top of that, we have the retro synth, which brings us 4 shades of classic analog synth sound, and they sound great. On top of that, we have studio horns, we have studio strings as well, a B3 organ, where there's a ton of options contained within this, electric piano, which comes with almost 20 shades of electric piano sounds. We have Drum Machine Designer, which is much akin to like an MPC or something like that. And then on top of that, we have fantastic sounding drums. I mean, personally, I haven't heard acoustic drum sounds come from a DAW or a piece of software that sounded as realistic and as natural and awesome as the Logic Drum Kit Designer. Love it. Okay, number 6, fantastic editing features. Logic gets a bad rap for not being very good for editing, which I think is baloney. We have Flex Time, which is a time compression and expansion algorithm, so you can adjust the timing and the performance of anything you'd like very easily. I mean, let's look at this electric guitar, open up Flex. I have this set to monophonic, so look, I can just stretch this out as I need. I don't even need to stretch it out either, as I could just go up to the region inspector here, go to quantize, and we can quantize by 16th notes, and everything's been locked in. You have many shades of flex time based on what you're working on, monophonic, slicing, rhythmic. We have pitch correction contained within Logic, which in my opinion sounds quite good. Let's find some vocals here. Okay. And let's turn on flex pitch. And just like that, we have Melodyne style pitch editing contained within Logic, and much easier to use, much easier on the eyes to look at. There are many nodes for different adjustments. On top of that, we have Smart Tempo, which is not necessarily editing, but it makes the grid and tempo null and void. You're able to just drag an audio file in that hasn't been recorded to a grid, and the tempo lane will adjust to that performance. And then as you drag in drummer and loops and all sorts of things, they'll all conform to that tempo. Okay, number 5, demo projects. In case you've been looking at this cover and kind of wondering what's going on here, this is not a project that I've worked on or recorded or anything. This is the included project for you to examine and enjoy in Logic. No holds barred. This is the most recent single from Beck's latest album, Colors, and all 100 plus tracks are in here for you to examine. I mean, there's amazing drum sounds and synth sounds, and nothing's held back. You're not listening to like 5 stems. It's like, here's the kit. Let's solo it. I mean, that's pretty amazing. I don't fault other DAWs for having demo projects that maybe aren't necessarily popular or professional, but I mean, it's pretty amazing that Apple was able to acquire the rights or work out a deal to provide all of us Logic users free of charge the full project to examine and look at and play with. Number 4, key commands. Logic probably has the best set of key commands out of any DAW that I've ever experienced. If you've been using a DAW for any amount of time, you know key commands are crucial. You don't want to mouse around for everything all the time because that's very time consuming. You want to use key commands to be able to execute things very quickly. And Apple thought about this with the key commands for Logic. If you want to record, just hit the key R for record. If you want to open automation, A for automation. If you want to mute a track, here, let's pick a track. Hit M for mute. It's so easy. And of course, there's only 26 letters in the alphabet. There's thousands of functions in Logic. No problem. As you have to add modifiers, we use Control M to mute the regions on this track, or Control S to solo this one particular track. It's just, they've thought very long and hard, as far as I can tell, on how key commands should be set up. So it's easy to remember, it's easy to implement. Number 3, Drummer. I am convinced that Drummer is one of the greatest advancements in audio technology since Melodyne. Drummer provides us with an AI drummer who can play either acoustic sounding drums or electronic sounding drums, such as like EDM and hip hop. And especially with the acoustic drums, they sound very realistic and they sound great. And apparently the samples were recorded by Bob Clearmountain himself. Take a listen. Let's bump this up quite a bit. Okay. That sounds fantastic to me. There's so much subtlety and nuance, and on top of that, you can have Drummer follow any performance that you record or perform, or have in Logic. So we click on follow, and then we can start looking for a track that we want it to follow. So easy, so intuitive, and it sounds great. I mean, it's like having an amazing drummer without having that drummer that you got to argue with all the time and try to coax into playing the damn thing that you want them to play. It's amazing. Number 2, I have to point out, it's an Apple product. I love Apple, and so maybe I'm fanatical, maybe I've been drinking the Kool-Aid a little too much, but Apple builds great products that last and are intuitive and beautiful. And that's how I want to work. I want to work with a product that's easy on the eyes, that's easy to use, that just works with the hardware. And number 1, the number 1 reason that I think you should consider buying Logic based on everything else that I've just told you is that Logic is $200 all in, nothing left out, nothing for you to have to pay for later. No plugin, no loop, no instrument. Every time it's updated with new features, you don't have to pay for those features. You only have to pay for it at major updates. So whatever comes after 10, which might be 11 or some other name, that's when you'll pay $200. And on average, we enjoy free updates for about 5 to 6 years in between major updates. So I implore you, take a look at Logic Pro 10, examine its features, let me know in the comments what you think, or if you're a Logic user yourself and you just want to say, hell yeah, Logic is awesome. I hope that was helpful to you. As always, if it was, subscribe to the YouTube channel, Why Logic Pro Rules, or subscribe on the website itself, whylogicprorules.com. Every week, I'm posting new videos, posts, and content to help you get the most you can out of Apple's Logic Pro 10. Thanks.